Hello there and welcome to Really Cool Excel. Today we're going to learn about sorting data, so let's look at an example right away. Here's some data we can play with. It's only a small sample, but the principles we discuss here will work on any amount of data. In the first 5 columns is a block of data with no empty columns or rows. The proper term for this is contiguous data. One solid block. Then, to help with this demonstration, column F is empty and column G has the numbers 1 to 19 to reflect the number of rows. In older versions of Excel, there's no doubt that sorting could be a bit shaky. I tended to worry that some of the data would be sorted and some would not. So I did a lot of double checking to make sure that hadn't happened and caused myself a lot of unnecessary work in the process. Sorting's a lot more robust now, but it's still not completely foolproof. So I'll show you later how things can go wrong and what you can do to prevent it. This row here, with Karen Cunningham in blue and bold, is control data. It's there to prove that each sort we try has been successful or not. I'll just point out that there are 3 places where we can access sort commands. On the Home tab in the Editing group, on the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group, and good old right click. You can run a simple A to Z sort or a more complex custom sort. As your confidence builds, you'll know exactly when to use each type of sort and what they will do. Back in the olden days, I probably would have selected all the data first, then run the sort. On this sample size, that's not difficult, but dragging your mouse over dozens of columns or hundreds of rows would be a pain. But because this is contiguous data, a solid block with no gaps, remember, all I have to do is click on one cell and Excel will automatically sort any contiguous data that surrounds it. I'll prove it by running a simple sort on column C to put these surnames in alphabetical order. Click anywhere in the column, Sort and Filter, Sort A to Z. Our surnames are now in order and we know the whole data set has been sorted because our control row is still all together. You'll also notice that our numbers in column G still run from 1 to 19, meaning that column has not been sorted because it's not contiguous. I'll undo to put the data back in its original order. But what if I want to sort first by city or town, then by postcode? This needs a primary sort followed by a secondary sort. And for that, I need to use the custom sort option. So, click anywhere in the data as before, and this time we don't have to be in any specific column. Different route this time, right click, sort and custom sort. Now automatically, as you can see, Excel has selected our continuous block. Now I'll set up the parameters for the primary sort in this row. Sort by, then choose city or town. You'll see a few options in this next field, but I'll stick with the default, sort on values. Then the order is A to Z. Now, to add in a secondary sort for the postcode, click Add Level to give us a Then By row. So, postcode and use the defaults as before. Like most dialog boxes, we can read it back in plain English before we click OK. Sort by city or town in A to Z order, then by postcode, also in A to Z order. Now we can click OK to run the sort. Now just to check it all out, our cities and towns are grouped together as the primary sort, and for the secondary sort The postcodes are then in A to Z order. I'll highlight the Edinburgh ones just to prove it. And our control row is still intact, so we can be certain it's worked, and column G has still not been sorted. By the way, if your data is very complex, you can add in more sort levels if you need them. I'll undo again to put it all back. I said earlier that sorting is still not foolproof, so let's look at where it can go wrong. I'll select one column, then run a simple sort, A to Z. Excel recognizes that there is data next to the column I've selected and throws up a sort warning dialog box to say, unless I expand the selection, this extra data won't be sorted. So, click Sort to accept the expanded selection, and the control row proves it's worked. Undo again. But this time, if I select two columns and run the same sort, we don't get a sort warning dialog box. So quite a big inconsistency there, and from what I've read, the sort warning dialog box will only be generated if Excel can easily see where the data can be expanded. So clearly, one column is easy, but two is not. Strange. So you need to be aware that when you select data manually, then run a sort, check it's been sorted properly before you move on, and if it hasn't, undo. The solutions are either to click in one cell as we did earlier, and then check Excel has selected all the data automatically, which I guess is the preferred option, or manually select all the data, then you can be sure. Finally, in the sorts we've done so far, column G hasn't been included, deliberately so. You've seen that Excel won't include it automatically because column F is empty. So if you do want to include column G in the sort, you have to select the whole data set manually. Now, if I run a sort, column G is included, but only because I've chosen to include it. So, as you can see, sorting is mainly quite straightforward. The key things are to have a contiguous data set, which makes the data selection automatic, and to use headers, which means you can identify the fields more easily in the custom sort dialog box. But if you're at all concerned your sort might not work properly, save your file first before you sort, and if it all goes wrong, close the file without saving and go back in and try again. Right, I'll leave you now to go off and experiment, and if you'd like more practice, download the associated Excel file from the website. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time.